Hello, and welcome to episode 154 of Design Curious Podcast. I'm your host and mentor, Rebecca Ward. Today on the podcast, I have guest Hance. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She is the owner and principal designer at Hance, a Los Angeles-based high-end residential design build firm. Over the past 10 years, Hance has designed over 200 single-family and multifamily residences throughout the country. Known for her innovative and collaborative approach to interior design, Bree offers a fun and seamless in-house process for helping clients achieve their dream homes, from concept to completion. Her emphasis on bold colors, eclectic yet luxurious design, and her philosophy of elevated, everyday living has made her one of LA's most sought-after designers and design experts. I really enjoyed our conversation. I felt like we were on the same page for a lot of things with our philosophy around running a design business. And so I think you're going to enjoy this conversation. So let's get into it. You're now listening to Design Curious, a place where you, creative one, are here to learn about what it really is like to be an interior designer. And I'm your host and mentor, Rebecca Ward. If you're worried about how to succeed in a creative career, if you're ready to learn your next steps to become an interior designer, and if you want the satisfaction of doing something you love every day, you are in the right place. Grab a coffee, a notebook, and let's dig into today's episode. Hey, Bree, welcome to Design Curious Podcast. It's great to have you here today.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here with you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I love that you are here. We chatted a little bit offline about how you've been in business for 11 years and you really just want to pay it forward with the information you've learned along the way. So let's go back and go to where you started in interior design. How'd you get into the business?
Yes, I would love to pay it forward. I love that you said it that way because anyone who's helped me has just astronomically helped me grow or think about something a different way. So if I can offer that to anyone, that's pretty awesome. How I got started. So about 12 years ago, because I'd say 11 years ago is when I created my company. So 12 years ago, my husband, he was creating a vertically integrated real estate company. And his vision was to have investments, construction, a brokerage, and design all within one company to make it easy, one-stop solution for clients who wanted to maybe buy and tear down or remodel and sell. And it was literally all under one roof. And when he was going through building that, I designed a couple of projects for him just as a pet project. I had a job in sales and I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I love this. Because I had always made our homes turnkey and the office. I've always been naturally really good at it, but I never thought of it as being a career. I didn't know back then. It wasn't something I studied in college. I was a Division I volleyball player. So very focused on sports. So I just never thought about it. So I designed a couple of houses for him. And he was like, man, you're really good at this. What if you lead or head the design department for my company? And I thought about it and I'm like, actually, what if I start my own company and you're my first client? And the rest is history. Honestly, that's literally that night. And I'm such an intuitive feeler doer that I plan and execute relatively quick because once it's flowing and when you hit that creative flow, I'm like, Hance Interiors, a play on my last name. And then we just started thinking through all of the details. I read he and I both did, because he synthesizes information a lot quicker than me. So we both read the Kimberly Seldon book. We literally sat at a restaurant in Brentwood outside on the porch, on the patio for several hours and took notes. And we're like, how can this apply to me? The 15 steps. The first couple of years of my business, I think I narrowed it down to 12 steps that were my process that I thought made sense based on my experience. And he was my first client. So I was able to work through a lot of just not doing so well, not figuring out not how to do it with some of his projects. Unfortunately for him, fortunately for me, because he's not going to fire me. That's initially how it got started. From there, just grew. He was my only client for about a year and a half. And then because he was the broker on his property, I was able to go in and shake hands, kiss babies. I set up a table. I had an Hance Interiors tablecloth. I made collateral I would hand out. Because I didn't have a website or a portfolio, I was like, hey, it's me, Bree. I designed this house. This is my portfolio.
Yeah.
And I did that in probably 5 or 6 homes. And then I met a couple in Beverly Hills And that was my first client. It was on Clearview. It was a really big, beautiful Beverly Hills home. And he had seen those properties. Again, I still did not have a website. I didn't have the money to put into it. But my husband, Brandon, and I had just finished remodeling our own home, which was more higher end than the projects that we were remodeling at the time. So I literally invited this client over to my house. And my dog's like licking them. We didn't have kids yet, so it wasn't like loud and crazy in it. But I walked them, and my house was pretty high end. And so that we sat at my dining room table, and I'm like, trust me, you are going to be my first client. I was very honest with them, but I do and have done all of these. And he hired me. That family hired me.
Wow.
That was literally my first client that was outside of the projects I was doing for a developer.
How exciting.
And nerve-wracking. My nails were so long. I actually have a testimonial from him he did as a video. And he's like, she sends really long emails. Because at the time, I think I was trying to figure out my process as I was writing it to make sure he understood it, you know? Ultimately, now we're fast forward, 10 years probably from that, 10, 11 years. It's a lot different. Now I'm like one-liners. There's a website, Instagram, like you kind of know what to expect on the process.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that development of your business. I love Kimberly Seldon's book as well. That was one of my first references for how to set up design systems in my business. So you took that and you kind of made it your own for your business. Did you eventually scale, or like how big are you guys now? Because you're a design build, right? So yeah.
It was a slow burn and growth for the first 3-4 years, which was perfect. I was also at the time, it's hard to build a business internally and externally. So I'm like, okay, I didn't get to hire the right designers, but then train them. But also I'm still trying to learn how to build my business, manage clients, create infrastructure for process, all of that. So for the first few years, we still did a lot of projects for my husband's company. We worked for a couple other developers, but then I would bring on, I'd say, maybe 3 to 4 projects that were solely client-based in, and then we just scaled slowly. I wanted to create a lifestyle business for myself, which was one of the biggest. The opportunity came about. I was working in corporate. And so for me, I'm like, I was still relatively young, but I wanted to make sure I could create the balance I wanted in my life, which was really a priority for me to figure out. So when I think about building my business, that's always been a part of it. So I wanted to build and scale at the same time I'm building my family. We have 3 young kids. So like every time I go on maternity, like just all the things and the juggle of all of that, it was important to me not to scale too fast.
Yeah.
So we've grown, I think, year over year, pretty stable and always grown. And then in 2023, we grew a lot. I don't know I think it was like maybe post-COVID or like everyone's kind of getting back at it and building and moving and doing all the things. We had, over 40 projects. I had a staff of probably like 25. Honestly, it was my worst year of business though.
Oh.
I felt like I became chief psychology officer. There's just the dynamics in the office of everybody trying to get along or not. Just the hiring a younger generation of just managing that. It took the soul out of why I do what I do. I love designing. I love being client facing. It put pieces between the clients and me.
Yeah.
I tried it. I don't think I would have known, because in your mind, you're like, oh, I can scale and maybe we can hire and employ more people. We'll be able to create a bigger impact across LA and across the country. Because at that time too, we had projects in Nashville, Minnesota, one in Texas. Like we had clients everywhere. And it was just too big for me. I feel like I lost control of the company. There's decisions happening too fast, but ultimately it falls on my shoulders. So for me, it's not for me. So then we waited and let a couple people go because it wasn't working out. But a couple of people got pregnant and something happened. And I'm so tapped into feeling aligned that like, I sound super like woo-woo, whatever, but like kind of create what I think is needed. And so it naturally downsized. And then in 2024, it just started to level out, kind of started to feel the peace and control again. And that was just obviously planned and organized. And I was thinking about it constantly, but I really think when you're thinking about it, you attract it, And so now we're at a size, I have a few part-time girls. I've got 3 full-time girls. We're at like 7, 8 people just on the design side. And it's so manageable. I'm so happy with that. Yeah, I'm not chief psychology officer dealing with like feelings.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot to like go from just your own being a solo and then having a team of 25 and trying to manage all those people. That's a full-time job, is management.
It is. And I created a lifestyle business where I want to design and be in the creative side of it. And also I love people. Like part of this is I hate calling it customer service oriented or whatever the word is, but like I love people. I want to get to know them. I want to know everything to make their house them. And in that way, it just kind of separated me a little bit. It was for me making sure I have the balance to still be able to be involved with my clients at all the big meetings. Like I'm obviously not in the weeds, granular day to day on stuff. I have project managers for that.
Yeah.
But I am at every large meeting. And that's important to me.
Yeah. Well, that's great. So what kind of projects do you take on? Like what's your style that you like to, your aesthetic, I guess?
Early in my career, I had a publicist who was like, you're going to have to define a style. You got to be this. Are you going to be organic that? Are you going to be Cali Beach? Whatever names we want to throw out. Just didn't feel drawn to that. I think living in Los Angeles, the diversity and range of people and homes I had designed when I was having those conversations, I was like, they wouldn't have hired me. They wouldn't have hired me. It really put me in like pigeonholed me a little bit. I know it works for a lot of people and that's so terrific. And I have a really, really close friend I grew up with in Arizona who's very successful and she has a style. So it totally works. For me though, because I love designing other styles, it wasn't just mine. I trademarked elevated everyday living. So it was holidays. I think it was New Year's Eve of 2020. We were in Breckenridge, Colorado, and my husband and I were eating in this little igloo because obviously no one could be around each other. And we met the chef. He came in and talked to us and his restaurant was elevated everyday dining. And we're talking to him about it. And it's like, it's everyday food that's elevated. It was the best grilled cheese you've ever had in your life. It was just all of those types of things.
Yeah.
And we talked to him all night and we got home that night and I'm like, I got it. Elevated everyday living is my style. I knew it. I literally changed my handle on my Instagram that night. I trademarked it the next week when we were in the office. I just knew that that was the essence. It's how I live. I literally embody elevated everyday living. I have my kids do that. My husband's like that. So when you think of it as a style, for me, it was more like, it's not overly glam where you feel like you walk into that, the old school formal living room that grandmas had where the carpet was always vacuumed and you like cannot touch it. So like this is like a beautiful home that's elevated, but is also so practical, like pretty impractical. So that's my style.
I love that. I love that you trademarked that phrase as well. And you're just living it out with your family and your kids and everything. Yeah. So
I envision it being something bigger. I don't have clarity on it yet. I have some merchandise that I wear myself. I've got cool hats. I've got really cute puffer jackets, like sweatshirts, just still kind of playing with it. I'll just order one just to see. Yeah. But it could be like, you see like good vibes only. There's random like that. Elevated everyday living is something bigger. I don't know what yet, but obviously it's homes and a lifestyle, but there's something more to it. So I trademarked it. I envision it to be bigger. Not sure where it heads yet though.
Have you ever thought about a store or having it as like a curated home store or something? Or yeah,
potentially. I've struggled with feeling the drive to manage inventory. That's my only thing. My husband, when we first met, he was running a tech merchandise company. So he had one of the first, it was like direct to consumer merchandise for musicians. So back in the day, you used to only be able to buy, back in the day, I act like I'm like 80, but like, what we've been married for 50, it's like 15 years ago, you'd have to buy merchandise from a concert, right? It's not like we had the Amazon and all those things yet. So he had created a huge on-demand service to sell artists merchandise. He had a huge warehouse and it was honestly hell. I saw what he was going through, like just trying to things out on time and all this stuff. And like, I think it scarred me. I have a little PTSD from that. I know that a smaller store wouldn't necessarily be as daunting as that, but I'm not sure. But I have a big sign in my office that says "Start with yes." It's literally made out of house numbers, and it sits right behind where all the designer pay is. Start with yes, because like I don't know. There's never a no.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. Can I ask if you or your clients were affected by the fires earlier this year?
Sadly, yes. Man, it rocks Los Angeles, of course. It's changed us, I feel like. And yes, I have 2 clients in the Palisade. One client lost their home that we were building. It was framed, and they lost their rental that was just a little bit down the street. So they lost all their personal stuff too. And another one just lost the home that they were building. So yeah, and it's been sad. And both clients are planning to rebuild. Following the fires, my husband and I both just became very active in trying to find ways on how to offer resources on navigating the process Obviously, they were trying to figure out in real time what the city permits and things would look like and how to remove the debris and do all of that. But on our end, we offered free services. I spoke to probably maybe 60 different groups of people. My husband probably more on families impacted on how and what to do and like where to start. I think a lot of people who inherited a home or lived there forever, a lot of the homes were not brand new who had just gone through this remodel or new build process. And so it was, here's what you need, how you should think about it. So we were impacted by that for sure. And then just helping out. I have some really incredible stories of one of our clients and getting them into their new home and getting all their house pretty much with donated furniture from my social media.
Oh, wow.
Sofas and rugs and all the things. And just some really great stories. Like one of the clients, this one's special to share. Their daughters played at Pali High on the soccer team. And I guess, the field's burned down. They're obviously not living in the neighborhood. They're trying to find different places to go play and practice. They made it to, I think, state finals. I don't know what actually like the regionals are called for them. They made it to the playoffs. And the boys team did also. And all of the LA men's sports teams reached out to the boys. The Kings, the Lakers, the Dodgers, obviously larger organizations. But none of the women's teams had reached out or done much to like help support, like come to the stadium or do this or do that. And I don't know, maybe it just didn't get to them. Maybe they did and I don't know about it. But my client, one of the women and mom, she's a mother of 4. She was like, hey, I know you're connected. Is there any way that you could see if one of the sports teams could do something for our girls' soccer team? They made it to playoffs, blah, blah, blah. So I said something to a couple of friends. Long story short, we get a video of all of the Angel City girls, some Olympians from the soccer team from Canada, the US, who do a whole montage of good luck in the playoffs, Pally girls. You guys are fighters. The fact that you are able to stay focused throughout all of this, da, 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 da. And I have the video. It's amazing. To give them some support was so cool. So I think that like we're all impacted by the fires, but I'm a doer. And so obviously you sit in it for a little bit and then I'm like, how can I help? And it was getting furniture for my clients and other people if I could, or sharing knowledge. And then also helping with this sports video, being an athlete. These kids are like, imagine being teenager, senior, junior in high school. Plus they were COVID kids, like just the whole mentality of it, wanting to keep everybody with high self-esteem and confidence,
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. So you definitely leveraged the power of social media, I think, probably to garner those videos and everything. And I'm sure you use social media a lot in your business. Can you talk a little more about how you use it to grow your brand?
My little piece of the internet works awesome. Obviously, we all have, people make fun of it. It's annoying. You post too much, yada, yada. I think I pretty much get every single client from Instagram.
Really?
Yeah. Now, it could obviously a lot, most like from referrals as well. Yeah. But I think that even when they're referred, they're following me for a little bit to try to get to know my personality and style. I am all for it. Instagram works amazing for me. I don't really do anything else. I did a small thing on TikTok 2 or 3 years ago just to test it because it was so popular. It wasn't for me. I didn't really know how to, or wasn't inspired to create content on that platform. I don't use Pinterest as much as I should. YouTube's an amazing platform. We'll put larger form videos on there that I use for marketing and sales. So I'll shoot home tours. I'll shoot bigger videos that are like, here's the details of our design package and I use them. I'll hyperlink them in pitch emails. So that's what I'll use that for. I know people, you could really, really use YouTube a lot more. I don't have the time or the interest as much to do it. And Instagram's fairly simple for me to create reels and push out content and stories. And it works really, really well for me.
Wow. So do you create most of your content or do you have someone who helps you with that?
So I have a girl who helps me with it and her name's Shelby and she's like a little sister to me. So we'll create together and it's fun. So I recommend to anybody who has somebody who creates it. She was also a D1 athlete. Her first day of work was on my 3rd daughter's day of birth. I'm in the hospital giving birth to my 3rd kid. And that was her first day of work. And then now she ended up going to a different company like 6 or 7 months ago. That was in the music industry, but she works for me pretty much part-time and it's worked out great. She's just always going to be with me. She's creative. She's younger. She's got her finger on the pulse of like trends and she'll send me things. And I'm like, is that cool? She's like, yeah, that's cool. I'm like, okay, great. Let's do it. And so she'll come with me on shoots and films. And then I also have a video and photographer team. So I'll use them to go out whenever we finish a project or during install. we'll go get footage and we'll plan ahead on the reels or the content or short form or long form that we want to get. So that way, if it's a informative thing on wallpaper or, whatever, we're prepared when we go into it to say, okay, we're installing this today. Make sure you do this. Here's a tip for this. So we're planning ahead and being organized for content days to make sure that we have like a whole file of it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely paying off all of that planning. Just
It
takes
does.
a little bit of an effort, but for you, it's definitely worth it if you're getting a lot of clients.
It is. And I love it. I'm like promoting my business.
Yeah.
So it's fun for me too.
Yeah. And it makes sense too, because if you're kind of doing a lifestyle brand, overall with your elevated living.
Yeah. And I'll say, when I was on the camera at the beginning, I was so awkward. Oh my gosh, those first ones. And Shelby, that's actually where I was getting at, is you want someone who makes you comfortable.
Yeah.
We're just like, I say she's a little sister. I feel like she's just part of my family. I was easy with it. She's like, no, you sounded too rehearsed. And say it how you would say something. And she'd give me an example and then we'd film it real quick and I get it. I'm like not a first time done one and doneer. I'm like 20 takes. Just because I would get so awkward. Now, I didn't even review the questions before this, or I'm such a flow person in moments. But if I have to plan and memorize, so I'm like, I got the outline before shoots like that. My team is prepared for it. And then they'll be like, okay, Bree, tell us why you like this wall paneling on this wall and how it anchors the space. And I'm like, so everyone has a different style. That's my tip, because if I'm over rehearsed, I'm like stiff and awkward.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm the same way too. So I definitely can identify with that. That's great.
Just flow, right? Like conversation. I'm in the moment. I don't have to overthink it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or take a shot of tequila.
That always helps.
That'll listen you up.
Yeah, for sure. As you're doing different projects and things like that, I'm sure that you've had to deal with some challenges and maybe difficult clients. Can you talk a little bit more about how maybe you've overcome these challenges or deal with those difficult situations?
Yeah, it's inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to say, going in my 11th year, I have much thicker skin than when I started. And I always told my husband early days, I never want to become jaded, because he's an entrepreneur and he's been through it. He's a very seasoned entrepreneur. And I would hear him talk. And he's also the most ultra positive person you'd ever meet. But there comes a time where you just become a little more jaded in how you think about things. I've totally become jaded. I am there. I am still glass half full, and I believe the best in situation. But I think that in this industry, you are working for people who are probably spending the most money that they've ever spent on something in their life. So just with financial pressure comes stress. With construction comes, as much as we try to avoid them, issues. If it's a cost overrun or a timeline issue, things are out of your control. And so now I'm in a position to really vet my clients to make sure that they're reasonable people. And I have changed my narrative on how I pitch to people when it's a big new build project, on saying that this is a partnership. This is fluid. This is not me just giving you a bid and a design package and saying it's just going to be done. That's not the relationship. It is a very dynamic process. And so finding the right clients that understand that is what I need. I can't always be in that situation. There's times where I'll need to get scrappy and take on something what may not be the perfect profile, because running a business is hard and you're just not always going to get the perfect client.
Yeah.
As much as we all wish that. So that's one part, is just trying to vet them a little bit more to at least make sure that your contract and the way that you talk to them at the beginning, they agree and abide and listen and understand your process, and the expectations are managed. That helps a lot. That helps about 80% of the way. You got the other 20% where there's just issues. Maybe you mess up, your team messes up. They do the cabinet shop drawings wrong and the dishwasher doesn't fit, and the dishwasher comes and the counter, there's expensive mistakes.
Yeah.
And you just got to eat it. And you got to apologize, take it on the chin, and it sucks. I am a people pleaser. I am the type of person who wants to go above and beyond for everybody. Our ethos within my company are respond to emails within 24, no later than 48 hours, at least confirm receipt if you can't get to the details of it. Make sure we do Friday updates. You're always checked in with to make sure we are beating you to it. I am a stickler on just management like that, and make sure our clients feel heard and listened and responsive and all the things, right? So when we drop the ball, it hurts. It'll literally affect me all week.
Yeah.
I'll feel it. I'll feel bummed. I wish they could know how much I feel bummed, but I have to be professional, and just say I'm really sorry we let you down. it's our fault, we obviously mark time billing as non-billable, and then I'll pay to fix it. I've had some big mistakes where I was out on maternity leave and I had an interior architect not get sign off on these big custom bifold doors. And they came in the wrong size. It was like a $35,000 mistake. I'm still like probably breastfeeding in a diaper. I don't know. Like I am fresh out of it. And the client would only speak with me and demanded I went to her house. She yelled at me. It was so demeaning because I owned it. Yeah. She was pissed. They couldn't put the doors on, so they had to put plastic. So she actually asked me to pay her heater bill. It just kept multiplying and it was awful. And that's where internal process is really important too. But mistakes happen. Yes, it's always been a process to make sure every single drawing is signed off on by the client. We have an initial here on everything, initial every single page. Now that that's happened, I'm like a stickler about it. Yeah. But I'm sure it'll happen again on something, hopefully a lot less expensive. But we're all human. Yeah. And so it's nice when you have a client outside of the really expensive fee I had to pay. Even the heater bill for 3 months was expensive. It hurt. It put me in a hole for a little while. And I honestly was super upset about it, but she forgot to get one thing signed. It's just what made it a lot easier if the client was like, I know you're human and I'm sorry. I'm really mad. But thank you for paying for this. Thank you for just, instead of just continuously like just shoving me into the ground. And also, I don't know that you need to have sympathy for somebody who just had a baby, but there's probably like a few times in life that you should. And that's one of them. I think as a manager, as a business owner, you have things that you need and you really don't know until you learn them. Yeah. You know some basic ones, but now even in a scenario like that, the client should have initialed the like invoice on it or whatever it was, the design package. But also when they paid inside of our purchase orders now that we create through our company that we send out, not from the vendor, we put all the details in it, specs, all the things, which I didn't do before. It might have just said like 16-foot bifold doors and then the brand. Yeah. Now we're literally putting every single specification in it. Yeah. And then in the contract, it says, if you pay in full, and it's also probably in red on the bottom, you're saying that you approve that item. Yeah. Making sure you're covered in different which ways. All the info was there for you to double check. Could I have said, hey, go measure it yourself again? Maybe. It's in the contract. It's in here. That kind of helps cover yourself. Yeah. So it's really trying to think through how to alleviate those pain points because they will happen and they're awful. And then on the other hand, there's situations where it's not our fault and it's out of our control and clients can be unreasonable. And it's really hard. That's why I document everything in writing. It still won't work sometimes. If we're talking about delays or cost overruns, and the overruns, like I've had several scenarios where they're doing changes in the field. And now they want to move the outlet here. Now they want to add wallpaper. They want to change a little bit of electrical. And we're letting them know as we're going and writing. Maybe I'm not holding a meeting and I'm saying, which maybe I should. But honestly, it's like, who has the time for all that, right? Like you can get an email, you can read an email, it's bullet pointed. We also have client portals with everybody's info. Every client has a portal with all their documents in it. There's a way to trace back everything in writing. And we'll still have clients be like, but you didn't tell me. Like, you didn't tell me that it was going to cost all this much or all these changes. You didn't tell me. I'm like, we did tell you, but you're not reading it. Like you have to be a great partner and slow down with us. I know you're busy and you hired us for convenience. You hired my firm because we are a premium service to do this for you. At the same time, it's your home, your money, your timeline. Like you have to be engaged. Yeah. Don't get engaged 2 years down the road, all of a sudden. And that has happened. And that happens. And honestly, the relationship is fragile at that point and it breaks. And now whatever we do, we are not able to recover it. And that's happened to me on a few projects. I did not get pro photos. They're unhappy with us. I guarantee they're not a great referral out there. Right. And that's unfortunate because we do our best and we're willing to make what we can work within reason. You did all these changes and like, I can't go and do them now. I paid someone to do it. You have to pay me for it. Yeah. It's messy and it happens fast. I'm sure we did some things wrong in that too, but that's why you just need to make sure you have a very great partnership and everyone understands that it's so extremely dynamic and you have to work together and be engaged from the beginning. Those are like the buzzwords I use. I need you to be engaged from the get-go. If you're not, and you're going to, like, we had a recent client who the wife paid attention whole time, every detail. He only started paying attention when we submitted the numbers for all the stuff. Right. Very out of touch. Yeah. And it caused a lot of things, and we're like, I wish you would have been paying attention at the beginning because we'd probably be able to have a lot smoother conversations now. Also, like, it's really hard right now with, which may have been a topic we bring up because it's new, but like tariffs. The LA fires are going to cause a large increase in labor costs because of demand. Costs are up across the board.
Yeah.
So now we had some clients get upset about their, maybe a bid they had in November or December of last year that come February of this year, plus that just keep getting worse.
Yeah.
It's out of my control.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But it's a big one. And that's a hard one to say, like, I don't know what to do. We can either wait, pause on your project, or we can down spec. Let's phase it. Like, the only things I can recommend are the obvious, but that is definitely a really, really large challenge in today's market for our industry.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I think most people are facing that with the increased costs, knowing that for the most part, they're not going to come back down and everything's just expensive. It just feels expensive. Yeah,
it is.
It's hard. Wow, I love all those examples of challenges that you went through. I think those are good things for people to think about, especially people new to the career, up and coming designers who might not have thought through, like, oh, if I make that mistake, I need to pay for it. I need to be able to pay for it, right? So you have to charge well enough to cover those types of costs. What other advice might you have for someone who is coming up in the career, just getting started or considering moving into the career of interior design from another profession?
One I wish I was better at when I was younger or just getting started was not to take anything personally. I know it kind of goes to my jaded sense, but really, when you're presenting designs, in my early days, I would feel offended in my own head. I don't know if I showed it when I was presenting, but I've really learned I am designing for you. And I think that that's set. Yes, if we put our heart and soul in it, and maybe when the client leaves, I'm like, dang, they didn't like that. That's crazy. It's so awesome. It's not their style. It's not you, it's me when you're dating. You just really don't take things personally. I think it's just a powerful tool to be able to be like, I'm producing for you. This is your world. You hired me to work for you. So it goes back to kind of pushing your ego aside. You hired me to work for you. What do you need?
Yeah.
That would be one tip. I think also, as cliche as it sounds, know your value. Early in my career, before I knew how to structure my billing, despite what I read in Kimberly's book, I had a client convince me to do flat fee. And I was so new that I didn't know. And they're like, I'm decisive and I'm going to be fast. Yeah, sure you are. Everyone who says that is
not.
It's not. Now all of a sudden you're in the weeds. You're like, this light fixture needs to be scooted over 2 inches. And none of my time is being billed. And I lost so much money. So I value my time. I'm very upfront. Even before I go to meet somebody in person, I charge for in-person consultation now. I'm 11 years in and have a lot of experience. So I feel that I can. And I started just doing that a couple of years ago. But when I create we log our time in House. We use House for all of our stuff. And I can pull reports on how much time was spent on last projects. So when I create an estimate for a new client, I can pull a similar scope project and look at the time we spent there and think about the time that I may spend here. And I'm honest with it. The worst situation I get in is when I go over my time billing. And they're like, why did you, it's missed? And it happens. It totally happens. Hopefully I have a good reason for it. And it's like, well, the scope changed, whatever. But sometimes in the past I haven't because I underestimated or I wanted to get the client. I think you need the clients who are going to pay for what you have to offer, and you need to know it. At the beginning, you probably got to charge lower in order to get clients, and then you just build it with experience. But I think knowing your worth is really important.
For sure. No, that's great advice. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. It's been great talking to you. And we'll put your information in the show notes in case anyone wants to reach out to you, maybe have more questions on how you built your business. So awesome. That'd be great. Thank you so much.
I love talking to you. Thank you.
So if you'd like to get in contact with Bree, we've put her contact in the show notes so you can reach out to her and learn a little bit more about her and what she does. And for those of you looking for a little more help to get your design career started and off the ground, you might want to join me in My Design Mentor. It's my online mentorship platform for any stage of your career, but especially if you're trying to figure out if interior design is right for you. I have some great learning modules in there. Plus, you can schedule to meet with me one-on-one over Zoom. and really just fine tune it to meet the needs that you have immediately or any project that you're working on. It can give you feedback on. It's just been a really great platform that a lot of people have been using to get their career started. So check that out. That's all I have for you this week. Next week, we'll have another great episode. And until then, stay creative. Thanks for listening. If you love this episode, please leave a rating and a review. This helps me reach other curious creatives like you. If you have a topic request or would like to contact me, simply head over to my website, rwarddesign.com, or email me at podcast@rwarddesign.com.